Hello, I'm Raymond Jannas, CEO and President of ATEX Resources Incorporated, and I'm here again to chat with Matthew.
Hey, Raymond, good to see you. Good to see you indeed. You're looking well. I'm very healthy. I'm jealous of the suntan that you picked up here. Well, I'm calling you from Cape Town, but I thought, and you are in Chile at the moment, are you, or where are you hanging out?
Actually, I'm in Mendoza. My wife is Argentinian. She lives in Mendoza, and that's why I'm here. But I'll be back in Chile on Thursday.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's get a catch up. I saw the press release coming out about the exploration update. We talked last time about the three holes that you were drilling, and I'm obviously waiting for the assays to come back. It looks like they've come back. You put out the press release. What did you make of what came back?
We got some interesting looking core. That's the main thing, and that makes me quite excited. Our program was to drill three holes, approximately 2,000 meters each. Unfortunately, were not able to accomplish what we wanted due to drilling issues with the drilling company. Basically, only one drill hole, 17, which is the first one that we started, reached 2,057 meters deep after almost 3 months at the project drilling. 19 that was going very well finished at 1,308 meters due to drilling issues, and we had to abandon it. It looked very interesting. We were coming into the porphyry. We had a bit of porphyry. We had mineralization way behind it already appearing in the host rock and in the porphyry, but unfortunately we lost it. And the third drill hole that we started in March, we knew that we're not going to reach that amount of meterage. Unfortunately, had to be abandoned about 438 meters due to, again, technical issues with drilling. So we accomplished one complete hole that was 200 meters southwest of drill hole 14, which is the main one we talked about last time. And the other one that is 200 meters northeast was 19 that reached part of of our objective. But in both holes, we don't have assays, but the mineralization looks very interesting and comparable to what we had in 14 eyesight. I cannot say assays, which we will be expecting back in approximately 6 to 8 weeks. The whole complete.
So tell me this. Okay, so you didn't do what you'd hoped to be able to do through three holes to 2,000 meters. So you got one which did just over 2,000 meters. What has that been able to tell you about what you've got in front of you? And why should it, for shareholders, why should it not be a concern that you've had, two abandoned holes, albeit one at 1,300 meters and the other at 430 meters? Because it doesn't mean that all drilling going forward is going to be tough, or is it very much that, the blame to be laid at the front door of the drill company? Is it the geology or the company?
I think I can't blame the company exclusively in any of this. Drilling deep holes to 2,000 meters takes a lot of expertise, and what you need is tremendous expertise. I'd say the company worked well, and they had approximately 1.5 crew for 1.5 rigs. Okay, crew for 1.5 rigs that really knew how to go deep. Unfortunately, with 3 rigs, they had to bring in new people without the expertise of everybody, and that kind of gets mixed up. So let's say future programs, we have to be very concerned that the team that comes in has all the expertise in each rig. Now, remember that when we started this program, we had raised money in early December last year, and started drilling early January. So there weren't many companies available, and only one accepted our challenge. Okay, so I don't blame the company. I think they did a great job, and we were trying to reach objectives. I think there was minor errors, unfortunately, that affected the holes. It's not like they were bad drillers. I think there was just momentarily a situation that when it happens, you just can't recover the hole, and you just have to let it go. Now, with respect to what our objectives were, we knew that we were only going to complete 2 of the holes because the last one started early March. As I told you, the one that reached 2,000 meters took 3 months, just over 3 months. So we started in March. We were going to reach 2/3 maximum of that distance. So I wasn't so concerned about the third hole. So the 2 holes that was one 200 meters southwest that did complete, and the other one 200 meters northeast. What it shows us is a continuity of the system. And that is really, really important. The porphyry is there and it continues to both sides. And we don't know how further they will continue. So we're very excited with the visual results.
Right. Okay. And I want to talk about the visual results in a second. Like, I appreciate your team's track record and your, success with the drill bit, and people should watch the previous interview. We talk about that. So I'm not questioning that. I just want people to understand in terms of, drilling, likelihood of success in terms of hitting mineralization, likelihood of the holes being successful is what kind of ratio when you're drilling 2,000 meters. It's a long distance, right? 2,000 meters. Typically, would you expect 100% success, 80%, 50%? And what does it normally look like? I want to understand, where this ranks, your recent drilling ranks against the average.
As a drilling program, I'd say on a 70% success.
Okay.
With respect to mineralization. Because what you have to think is that the first, 600 to 800 meters are not the mineralized zone. It's after that. So 17 is definitely 100% success. 19 is about 50% success. That's why I gave you that number. And definitely the third drill hole didn't reach at all any of the mineralization that we were looking for. So that's absolutely zero. So I'd say, but our objective was to see if the porphyry mineralization extended in both directions. And that's 100% success.
Okay. And so let me finish off then, because there will be people who will judge you and criticize. And I just want you to be sort of clear and honest about, you raised $8.5 million in December. You said these holes are about $1 million each, 2,000 meters, about $1 million each. So they're not inexpensive, they're expensive holes. So, but your expectation is that 70% success generally is good enough, and you would argue that your 2 holes perhaps come at or near that mark.
Exactly. That's a good summary. And what I want to really highlight on this is that this program was looking to see if we had extension of the porphyry, that it made sense.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. So what does it tell you? What did you think was there? What does the drilling tell you? And what confidence does that give you to drill more holes?
Drill hole 17 will have a significant interval of mineralization. I don't know exactly the meterage, but it'll be around 14. And I think that the grade will be similar. I can't really tell by eyeballing it, but it looks really good. It has some interesting geological features that 14 doesn't have, like we have some breccias cutting mineralization, these biotite magnetite breccias. They're not big, but they're loaded, and they have a lot of chalcopyrite in it. So we're seeing new things, and we're seeing good mineralization and continuous mineralization, which is what we wanted to see. And the drill hole at 2,057 meters finishes in mineralization, not the highest grade that we saw within the and within porphyry. So we haven't gotten out of it at that depth and that distance. So that continuity is very strong to the south. To the northeast, we were coming into the porphyry when we had to abandon the hole. We had wall rock porphyry with a good mineralized intersect when we had to abandon. So we were coming into this long porphyry intersect that we didn't quite develop completely, but it's showing that it's there too. So, and the grades look quite interesting in that hole also.
Because we talked in the past about grades of about 0.6, 0.7. I mean, really good grades, strong grade. Like, this is copper equivalent, right? Grades. I know you've been, I guess the assay process has been disrupted as a result of what's happened recently, but are you going to be doing assay? How many more assays can you do to kind of add to that data? Or is it a case of you'll move on, you've seen the continuation, you'll drill again, and then perhaps assays will start again? I mean, how's the assay working for you, informing you?
First of all, our drilling program finished on 30th of April. Okay. Why? Because winter's coming and we're not prepared to drill over winter. We already had a bit of snow. We're right now demobilizing. Okay. We had to stop for a day for a small snowstorm. So we're demobilizing. We're planning to start up approximately October this year for phase 3 drilling. I think that I hope and I believe that assay results will show the strength of the system and the continuity of the system. And that should help us raise for the next stage drilling program, which we would start at that time and probably come in with, we're already talking to different drilling companies to come in and assist us on that. And with more expertise and more personnel with expertise for that drilling program. So that's on our way. We're also starting an environmental impact study that will not necessarily require for the next stage, but we're preparing for longer term exploration. We're acquiring a camp to have a definite camp on site and keep things that will permit us to drill at least 6 months, October through April. And hopefully if things turn out right and things are looking adequately, we may be able to extend it further. But that is also always a question about winter and equipment to maintain a camp in the winter time.
So in October, phase 3, roughly $1 million per hole, 55 million market cap. You've spent some of your, maybe half of the 8.5 million that you raised in December. What does the phase 3 program look like in terms of how many holes, how many dollars do you need, and how much will you now also need to raise to complete that phase 3 program?
Well, before I go and answer this question, I want to say that we spent a lot more than half of the amount, because losing holes and abandoning, you lose a lot of rods into the holes, and then recovering it takes time. So it just turned out to be a bit more expensive than expected. But that was part of, and this is our first time expertise in drilling that deep. And I think we're probably the junior company that's drilled the deepest in Chile ever.
Why do you have to pick up the bill if some of the crew, not all of the crew, some of the crew were of the company providing the drill services was not experienced enough and maybe made mistakes? Do you have to take and bear those costs? You have to bear their mistakes?
In the contract, you don't, but you don't want to kill your drilling company, and we shared some of the costs.
Okay, understood. Okay, so
the company gets very hurt, and relationships are very important with drilling companies. You're partners with them. They're not like a separate group. You work with them like if they were part of your team, right? So you treat them well, and basically, so you share some of those costs, yes, and that's why it came a bit more than expected.
Okay, so let's come back. Let's come back to not tremendous. Exactly, it's shared costs. But let's talk about how many dollars you will need to raise and how many holes you want to drill and how much money that will cost for the next phase. Because how big do you want phase 3 to be? Sorry, remind me.
Well, let's say next phase, we should try to have at least 3 rigs, and each rig to be able to do at least 2 holes, right? So we're talking at least 6 holes, probably a bit more. We'll have more real costs now, and when we were talking about the $1 million was exclusive the hole. We're not talking about the total cost that was almost double
and we had to put everything in, right? So we're talking about in the order of $12+ million at least, on the next phase.
Okay. And right, okay. So where's that coming from?
We'll have to raise it.
So, okay. Equity.
We will be equity, absolutely equity. And our idea is right now to, having completed this, wait for the assay results to really raise with real results and not, with our ideas of how good the program was. So we're going to wait for the assays. We expect to have them during June. I don't know exactly the dates, complete of 17 and 19. Both will, all the assays, all the samples are in the lab right now. So they're in preparation and will be assayed in that time. So that's when we expect. So once we have all the figures and we have everything clear, we'll probably raise at that time. Hopefully results will be positive for the raise.
Yeah, okay. And I'm interested in why I asked you about where's the money coming from. It was like Pierre, you mentioned him last time, 10% shareholder at the time. If people like that follow the money, it's a testament to his belief in the management team. And given what we've seen with the drill results, wherever the blame lies, that you may need that. So have you had a conversation with him about what's happened? What are his thoughts on the matter?
Yes, I think Pierre realizes the problems that occurred and realizes that the intersects that look mineralized, are what we were expecting. So we're all just waiting for assays, but we're all quite excited. And we believe that the results will be very positive, and Pierre is going to continue, I believe, to be very supportive of this program.
Financially?
Yes, financially. And all the others that accompanied Pierre and accompanied us in the previous race, I think they will be with us on the next stage. I think this is going to be a big system. It looks adequate to grow in what we were thinking. The grades follow, but now when you look at these type of dimensions that we're already getting mineralization 200 meters to one side, 200 meters to the other side, if the assays are what we expect and decent, we're looking that there's a chance that this can be underground block caving system. So we're going to start having a vision that we didn't have before. So this vision, we're going to have to grow it and understand it and make it into a geometry that works towards that end. But I think this is a first pass saying, yes, the system looks adequate. And that's what we were after. And I think it looks good right now visually.
Okay, because you likened it to Filo del Sol when we spoke, and I guess you need a lot more data before you can really start to kind of build the picture yourselves internally, but also for us out here in the marketplace. So what are the things that we should be looking for? Obviously, the raise will need to happen. So remind me of the timing for that raise, and you talked about the amount, sort of +12 million bucks. You've told us 6 to maybe more holes with three rigs drilling, and you're going to drill for this season, October through to April, right? That's the plan.
Yeah, that's our minimum plan right now. Okay, and you were asking about Filo. Filo's gotten tremendous success. Good for them. I was comparing some things with Filo. The upper part that has a bit of high sulfidation type copper mineralization, that we see it again in drill hole, especially 17, a bit in 19, but we don't know what grades or the extension of that is at all. However, our hypogene porphyry deeper looks very good and consistent, right? And that's what's going to make the bulk of our system. And I believe that with this program, we'll be able to raise approximately after June. I don't know if it's going to be July or August, because as all the warrants are in the money, We've been
Yeah.
getting
Well, they were at what, 20? They were 22 cents, weren't you're at what, 54 today? Yeah. Okay.
There's different 22, 30 cents. Not the ones that are now. These are the previous that are, some are expiring this year, are coming in. So we're getting a bit of funds coming through that method. So we have at this moment enough funds for our burn rate during this period.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, look,
An exact date to raise depends on our results and how market reacts and what we're going to do. I can't tell you, but it's going to have to be an opportunistically raise. It's not going to be a desperate.
Because the supply demand dynamics haven't changed for copper, that's for sure, in the marketplace. I think people are looking for big copper projects to come online, and obviously the gold kicker for you guys helps as well. Well, look, appreciate you coming on, updating us to what's happened, what you're waiting for, what you're going to be doing, and give us a sense of how you're approaching the project. I'd love it if you could come on maybe when some of the assays come through, and you sit down and have a more technical conversation with us about what you're seeing there. Maybe with one of our copper gold analysts. That'd be really, really interesting.
I'd be happy to do that. The technical side is my strength, so I'd really like to go through that in detail. But we're presently logging in very detail all the core. We have it extended out in Vallenar. That's a town that is closest to us, and we're working on that. I'll be there next week, strongly working with the group on that aspect. At the same time, we are doing not only geological logging, we're doing geotechnical logging, because we wanted to preempt thinking about an underground operation. So we're doing all the geotechnical logging in a lot of detail, which would be what would be done for an underground situation. So, and we're taking samples to do geotechnical tests, okay, on this drilling. So we're advancing, already thinking in that approach. At the same time, we're going to be working strongly with communities and talking with all these stakeholders to try to get them a bit more involved in what we're doing. If the results go as we expect will, we need to incorporate them too. So there's a big program during this coming months in a holistic approach to our next program.
Well, okay, I for one look forward to hearing all about it. We can you can do that chat in Spanish or English, your choice. But we will get technical, whatever language it's done in. Raymond, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Like what you're doing. Definitely stay in touch with us. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Matthew, and we're very excited with what we've seen up to now. And I'm sure that when we talk next time, we'll have some great results to show.